King Charles just erased Prince Harry live, on camera, before the French president and the world. In a Windsor-Castle toast brimming with lineage and loyalty, Charles showered praise on William, invoked centuries of royal duty, and never uttered Harry's name. Not once. Hours earlier, he'd done the same on Armed Forces Day, applauding every royal in uniform except the only one who saw combat, 2 high-profile snubs in 7 days. That isn't a slip, it's a strategy, an unmistakable royal ghosting that tells 70 million Britons, and one bewildered duke in Montecito, exactly who's in the family photo and who's been cropped out. Charles's Paris toast should have been routine monarchy theater, but it turned into a full-blown signal flare. In front of President Macron, international press, and wall-to-wall live coverage, the king wove a lyrical tribute to William, calling him the living continuity of Windsor's Norman foundations. Applause, camera flashes, and then pause. Speech over. Harry's name left floating in the rafters unspoken. Hardly an oversight, palace aides confirmed the draft was reviewed line by Charles himself. Overnight, #GhostedByTheKing trends on X. French and British tabloids run bilingual headlines translating the same verdict il n'a plus qu'un fils. For royal watchers, the toast wasn't a snub, it was a coronation in words, sealing William's place and publicly airbrushing his brother from the family portrait. In case anyone thought the silence was accidental, Charles doubled down a week earlier. Armed Forces Day, Britain's moment to honor service members, saw the monarch post a glowing tribute to military duty, his own 1970s naval stint, Philip's decades in uniform, William's search and rescue years. Conspicuously absent, the only Windsor who actually deployed to a combat zone twice. No mention of Apache sorties, no Afghan sandstorm anecdotes, just total erasure of Captain Wales. Veterans forums lit up first. Whatever we think of the royals, Harry earned that nod. TikTok stitched footage of Harry and Helmand next to the king's sanitized carousel of photos, racking millions of views in hours. For military families, the omission was more than petty. It felt like the crown rewriting its own battlefield history. And for Harry, watching from Montecito, it was the second thunderbolt in as many days. His service, like his title, now apparently expendable in the palace's new narrative. For years, Harry's critics insisted he'd been schooled in the Markle art of strategic silence, cut off the relative, starve the friendship, and let the unanswered calls do the talking. Thomas Markle, a half-sister, even Piers Morgan can recite the moves by heart. One day, you're inner circle. The next, you're a ghost story she never quite remembers. Last week, it felt as if King Charles copied that script, leather-bound it, and stamped a crimson crest on the cover. Courtiers whisper the decision wasn't impulsive, it was carefully debated inside the firm for months, right down to whether a tossed-off, "both my sons" line might blunt the effect. In the end, the king chose full radio silence, the same tactic Meghan once used on her father's desperate text chain. Palace staffers now describe it as Charles's ghost protocol. No statements attacking Harry, no olive branches either, just a vacuum so total that every news cycle echoes with what isn't said. And it's working. Headline writers have stopped asking why the rift exists and begun accepting the rift as permanent fact, a Meghan-style vanishing act scaled up to the level of crown and country. Monarchs don't need press conferences to rearrange the chessboard. They use symbolism and sanctioned compliments. Charles's 2 public erasures of Harry were followed by an unmistakable pattern of William-centric fanfare. One day, it's Armed Forces Day photos of the Prince of Wales in flight gear. The next, it's a Windsor-Castle lecture linking him to the very duke who built the fortress 9 centuries ago. Behind that steady drumbeat sits a blunt calculation. Every sentence elevating William automatically lowers the volume on Montecito. Insiders say the PR team's new mantra is legacy, not apology. Rather than rebut spare point by point, they are burying it in the sediment of fresh history. Youth charities William just launched, environmental awards, he'll headline this autumn, Catherine's steady hand at national events. If Charles's silence is the cold shoulder, the William rollout is warm floodlight, ensuring that when schoolchildren study this reign, they'll see a tidy line from queen to king to heir, with no messy footnotes about a second son who turned California influencer. Whether the strategy is fair is beside the point. In monarchies, perception often is reality, and right now, reality is being edited to show one prince framed in gold and another fading into the margins. While Charles tightens the spotlight, whispers from California paint a far grimmer picture. Multiple outlets, including Page 6, The Hollywood Reporter, and the insider-heavy royal newsletter, The Crown Chronicles, say the Sussex household has quietly shed more than a dozen staff since March. Allegedly gone, a senior comms strategist, 2 personal assistants, the couple's longtime LA fixer, and even the finance manager who handled everything from security invoices to Netflix reimbursement. One former aide, hiding behind an NDA, describes the vibe as startup panic with palace expectations, claiming the couple's cash burn is outpacing new income by at least $750,000 a month. Remember that vaunted $100 million Netflix deal? Hollywood accountants insist the guaranteed tranche was closer to $20 million before agents, lawyers, production costs, and a California tax bill that swallows nearly half. Add a $10 million mortgage, a reported $2 million a year security detail, sky-high property taxes, and Montecito maintenance that includes a private road levy and drought penalty water rates, and even royalty can feel the squeeze. None of this is confirmed by the Sussex camp, which flatly denies money trouble, but the optics are brutal. Fewer employees, idle production offices, and a podcast label that hasn't dropped a single new episode in 2025. In an industry that feeds on momentum, silence is poison, and right now Montecito is eerily, dangerously quiet. Equally unsteady is the streaming lifeline that was supposed to bankroll the post-royal dream. After Harry and Meghan drew blockbuster curiosity numbers in 2022, Studio Buzz promised follow-ups. A mental health series, a scripted drama, maybe even a children's show. 2 years later, none are on Netflix's public slate. Trade journal Variety ran the headline, "From Priority to Pitch Us Something: How the Royal Deal Cooled," citing executives who say the Sussex's contract now sits in developmental limbo, a renewable only if the couple delivers concepts Netflix deems commercially bulletproof. Industry code for "We'll call you." Then there's Invictus. Harry's signature Veterans project should be the one arena where public goodwill never flags, yet London tabloids claim, again, unverified, that planners for the 2027 games still don't have confirmation the Duke will appear in person. Sponsors are nervous, veterans groups are frustrated, and the palace, after Charles's double omission, has zero incentive to lobby on his behalf. If Harry skips, he risks eroding the last universally respected pillar of his identity. Put it together and the pattern is clear. As King Charles elevates William, every platform Harry once counted on, family, streaming, even charity, is wobbling. And unless something dramatic changes, the royal ghosting that started at Windsor-Castle may soon be echoed by Hollywood boardrooms, and worst of all, by the very soldiers who once marched behind his banner. The human side of royal drama is always measured in 2 places: opinion polls and punchlines, and on both fronts, Harry's numbers are tanking with dizzying speed. The newest YouGov tracker puts his net favorability at 43, an all-time low and a 10-point plunge since Spare hit paperback just 3 months ago. Even in the US, traditionally friendlier turf, a Morning Consult survey shows interest fading fast. 62% of respondents now say they're tired of hearing about the Sussex saga, up from 49% a year earlier. In Australia, he's dropped behind Prince Andrew in popularity for the first time, an unthinkable stat the tabloids now trumpet weekly. Late-night hosts have noticed. Jimmy Fallon calls Montecito the world's most expensive podcast studio with no podcast. Stephen Colbert joked that Harry went from royal rebel to man, explaining Wi-Fi issues in a 16-bathroom mansion, and Graham Norton's recent zinger, "Harry's becoming a royal cameo, blink and you'll miss him," clocked 9 million views on TikTok in 48 hours. From Twitter to Threads to Reddit's UK politics, the mockery is relentless. The point isn't that Britain has turned cruel, it's that public patience has expired. People accepted Megxit, even empathized with the mental health narrative, but the endless monetization, the piecemeal attacks, and now the palace ghosting have created fatigue. When audiences get tired, they first mock, then forget. In royal arithmetic, forgetting is fatal. All signs suggest the king's strategy is entering its final phase: freeze, out until fade out. Courtiers brief that no big olive branch is coming, no summit at Balmoral, no surprise balcony cameo at Trooping the Color. Reconciliation, says one veteran private secretary, is a mirage unless Harry crosses the moat first. Translation: apologize, step back from monetizing royal dirt, and show up. Otherwise, enjoy the Californian sunshine. Meanwhile, Charles continues the opposite of a smear campaign. He's running a William campaign. Every speech pairs the heir's name with duty, service, continuity, qualities Harry once owned. That contrast will calcify as the Prince of Wales gears up for next year's global tours and Kate resumes full-time engagements post-recovery. By 2026, the British public may view the monarchy as a streamlined trio: king, queen, future king, with Montecito existing only as footnote. For Harry, the window is narrow: a credible commitment to Invictus, a visible reconciliation effort, perhaps even a low-key UK residence could arrest the slide. But if he stays silent while the King's Ghost Protocol hardens, he risks waking up to find not just titles but relevance quietly stripped away. Meghan perfected the personal ghost. Charles just weaponized it on a national scale, and in royal history, ghosts rarely get a second invitation to the throne room. And that's a wrap! If today's scoop had you raising an eyebrow or two, tap that like button to let us know. Got a hot take or inside tea? Drop it in the comments so the whole crew can weigh in. Not part of the fam yet? Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell because the next twist is always one upload away.